All right, everybody. Hello, welcome to class. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be focusing on front falls. There's many reasons why as a martial artist or just as an individual it'd be good to have the coordination, the balance, and the knowledge of how to fall properly and safely. Ideally, we don't want to injure ourselves in the event of we trip, someone bullies us, whatever random reason is. So we have Ms. Kirsten here joining us today, and we're going to focus on the breakdown of front falls. We're going to break it down into 3 basic steps: upper body, then the lower body, and then the full movement. And then from the full movement, we'll level it up to an advanced skill, a jump. But we'll get into that in a moment. All right, so first key point that we want to make sure we cover is the safety aspect. Ms. Kirsten, go ahead and hold your arms up. We don't want to create any trigger points when we're doing our front falls. Also note, we're doing it on a padded floor, not going straight to concrete, okay? We don't want to hit onto our wrists, onto our fingers, anywhere on the palm. We don't want to focus onto our forearms only, and we definitely don't want to crash and land onto the elbows. Ideally, we want to have an even distribution of weight across not just the left arm, but onto the right arm as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So Ms. Kirsten, let's go and turn sideways so we can kind of see and break this down. Louis, are we good, or do we need to back up a little bit? We're good? Okay, so on this one is progression number 1, step 1. Start onto the knees. We do this specifically to take away the fear factor of landing and hitting or just getting yourself hurt. This is a very good tip for any martial arts instructors out there or just coaching partners getting into martial arts or in any form of fitness exercise. So on this one, going to put your arms up, already in that prone position. You're nice and clean and safe, and now you're just going to lean and let your body slowly come down. Now, as you notice, hold there, Ms. Kirsten. As you notice, one more. Perfect. Hold right there. Okay, notice how she's not landing onto her body. She has her knees here. That's where her support. Feet can be up, feet can be down, either one. But here she turned her head, and you can see how her arm and her hands are evenly distributed, and her fingers are not crossed over. That's a very common mistake. Let's go and do that one more time so everybody can see. Again, leaning, land evenly, turning head at the last minute, and you can see how it's nice and clean across, from the hands to the head to the shoulders to the hips and all the way down to the legs. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, safety first. Evenly distribute the weight across the entire surface area of the arm from hand to elbow, not any specific one part and then following in. This is a common mistake we see as instructors that people are trying to learn the front falls for the first time. They'll go ahead and land and actually crash or fall into a push-up position. Go ahead and demonstrate that for us, Ms. Kirsten. This is very bad, especially if you land and fall outside on a hard surface, not a pad surface, because now all that weight and momentum goes right into your wrists. Now, here in the kneeling position, it's not so much, but if we go from a standing position from here and then we fall and catch ourselves, that's going to be a lot of damage on those tendons and ligaments in our joints, so we don't want that at all. So it's important, again, to not fall directly onto that arm. Now, the next thing, the other mistake people make in this situation is they go straight from their wrist and then drop to the elbow after they fell. Go ahead and show us an example of that one. That's very bad, because now not only, thank you, Ms. Kirsten, not only did you fall into your wrist, but now you're falling from your wrist and then to your elbow, causing a lot more issues and a lot more trauma to your body. And we definitely don't want that, because if someone shoved you from the back and you fall and catch yourself, and now you got to stand up and defend yourself, well, now you have a busted wrist on both arms and you have busted elbows potentially. And what are you going to do then? Hopefully you're a strong kicker or a very fast runner, because that's about it. That's all you got. Okay, so now on this one, if you have any questions, make sure you hit those comments. Don't forget, give Louis behind camera a thumbs up. And now we're going to move on to phase 2, or part 2 of this. Go ahead and drop down, Ms. Kirsten, and this is going to be your starting position. Tuck your knees all the way in. Now we're going to work on to our foot posture. Now we're going to kick those legs out. And you want to get into a strong triangle position. Go ahead and bring it back in, and then kick it back out. Excellent. All right, Ms. Kirsten, let's come back around over here, just so you can see the position from this angle. Lou, if we can grab that, go ahead and get into that first position you just dropped. Excellent. Bring your knees all the way in or out, in, and kick it out. So you can see that triangle pattern. Can you see how her feet are going wider than her shoulders? A lot of people make this mistake. Bring your knees in. People make this mistake of kicking your legs straight back. That's not really distributing. You can see how her body shakes more. Bring it back in and really kick that out for a lot of stability. Excellent. Far stronger, far stable, and it distributes the energy in a wider surface area and less impact on your body. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that we have that, part 2, let's go on to part 3. we're going to actually come up into a squatting position. Now, this one here might be a little bit of an issue just because of people's lack of flexibility. But ideally, you're going to have your arms kind of rested onto your elbows. Some people put them onto the inside. That's okay. But we don't want to get in a habit of putting it to the outside. That's not necessarily the best thing because your body doesn't move. It stays cramped up, or what's the word? Compressed? Yes, compressed, squished, cramped. We don't want that. We want it to be able to flow and move easily, no distractions. And you can see on her toes that she has her feet together. That's okay. It can be apart a little bit. Some people are good to be actually on the ball of their feet, and other people can actually be on their heels. All that is about flexibility. That's really not so much, just as long as you have balance. So now from here, she's just going to lean forward. We'll take it from a front view. Louis, are we good or we need to adjust? Cool, okay. So now we're going to go ahead and get the lean, then the kick out. Lean, land, then kick out. That's important. Go ahead, come back. Wonderful. Go again from the forward view. Leaning forward, hit, then kick out. Don't combine them yet. Not until you're 100% comfortable and you have a lot of confidence on that. All right, let's turn and get a profile view here. Okay, and how are we doing on camera, Louis? Do you need to back up? A little more. That's good. Okay. All right, so now on this side view, as you can see, Ms. Kirsten, let's make sure you take a little bit more time between the landing and the kick out. As you come up for portion 3 of this, landing down, then kicking out. Give yourself the time. Go ahead and do that a couple more times while I talk. Give yourself the time to make sure you land securely on your arms, and then you kick out to your feet. That's very important, especially for beginners that are not so coordinated with your body. If you're having an issue with this, take your time between the landing and the kick out, because a lot of times people will go and do the landing and then they kick out too fast and it messes up their brain, it messes up their timing. One of the most common mistakes is as they're landing, they kick their feet out and then they are not able to land smoothly onto their forearms. Go and demonstrate one of those mistakes. See how her body and her hips moved? Because then her body is landing, but then her body or her arms are on the top, and it creates that weird looking arch. Let's do that one more time. Let's see if you can see this arch that I'm talking about. That must have, I'm glad we're on padding and not on the concrete, because that definitely would have hurt onto the hips. So you can see how you want to make sure the timing is most important. But even with that, arms, then feet. That's the safest one. So now that we have that, let's move on to the next phase. And this one is going to be adding just that little bit of a jump. Okay? Now, as you notice here, let's kind of scoot up just a little bit. Louis, can we get this? All right, let's see, we have her hips. Go into the squatting position. Okay? Now, if you can notice where her hips are, Louis, can we see her feet and her hands when she kicks out? Okay, so now let's go ahead and put a dot. Let's put a marker on that, Louis, on the edit. Let's put a dot where her hips are. And ideally, the same line that her hips are in this position is the same position she should be in when she lands on the ground. Go ahead. There's no forward movement. There's no back movement. Go ahead and keep going. She's just coming down, landing with her arms, and then landing with her legs. Proper front fall. Does that make sense? The reason why I point that out is because one of the most common mistakes people make, and you can probably see that maybe in some of the students training in the back, they're going to lean and jump forward into it. That's very dangerous because that injures your arms as well as potential scraping your face on the floor, and we definitely don't want that. Go ahead and show us one of those mistakes without hurting yourself. See how it pulls forward? And it's hard because now the shoulders, go ahead and just come right here and put your arms down. When people jump and they have that forward momentum, it's hard because your shoulders can't take that momentum of your body weight. Of course, if you're really strong and you're prepared for it, you can, but it really shoves you down and pushes you into the ground, and we definitely don't want that. Does that make sense? All right, so that's it for today's lesson. Remember, train safe, be very, very safe. Any questions, leave those comments. Don't forget to give Louis a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.